Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I've made it a goal this year to give a Christmas gift of preventing a few people from getting into car accidents from eating and driving by raising awareness about the dangers of eating and driving. And there are a couple reasons I made this a goal. First, this year, I got rear ended twice. Both of those drivers distracted. One of them was actually eating and driving. I had just finished shopping at Whole Foods, and I was getting ready to get out of the parking lot when somebody scratched my car backing out next to me, and he was eating while driving. He had just gotten something at Whole Foods, and this is Whole Foods we're talking about, and still he was compulsively eating like that. Imagine how much worse this could have been if we were at a Burger King or at a corner gas station where somebody had just gotten like some kind of fried chicken or something like that, right? Imagine how much worse addiction can be for somebody in that kind of a situation, right? We're talking about a Whole Foods. And even then, this guy couldn't wait. Now, I learned from that experience that the accident took 10 seconds to happen, probably even less. And the fallout of that took several weeks, right? You got to remember this happened this year. There was a lot of supply chain shortages. It doesn't help that my car is 12 years old. It doesn't help that I sometimes I'm in between homes. I got to get a rental car to put everything into my rental car, and all because he couldn't wait 10 seconds to eat. Right? Just think about that. Right? I bet he's still dealing with the fallout of that too. Right? Um, he was driving a Land Rover, but so he could probably afford to fix his own car. But I bet his insurance is still being affected by that. And I probably shouldn't have done this, but just out of curiosity, I went to his social media to read up more about the driver who had hit me. And he has kids, and he has an ex-wife. It sounds like, and it. I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason his marriage didn't work out is because of all of his compulsive eating and his compulsivity in general, right? I wouldn't be surprised, right? If he can't wait 10 seconds to eat, you can only imagine how much compulsion there is when he sees somebody other than his wife that he might be interested in. You can only imagine, right? And it just gave me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that he had gotten divorced before because I could kind of see why, right? He cheats on his car with food. You could imagine what he'll do with his wife, right? But the gist of it, and the thing I learned from that lesson was that a 10-second craving that you should really pull over and stop and eat, right? He should have just sat in the parking lot and finished his meal, right? Actually, I would have taken it a step further. I would have gotten out of the car. There's a whole cafeteria inside the Whole Foods where you can actually network with people, eat there, clean up, get back to the car, and drive home, right? If he had done it that way, sure, it might have taken an extra 15 minutes, but it wouldn't have taken 3 years of increased car insurance premiums. It wouldn't have taken me like a whole month of driving a rental car, right? Just something to think about the next time you're tempted to eat and drive, right? When I was in first grade, I had learned about the dangers of drinking and driving, but I misunderstood what it meant. I actually thought it meant to drink something while driving behind the wheel. I thought it was dangerous because you might spill your soda on your lap and be distracted while driving, right? Because as a passenger, I've drank stuff in the car, spilled it, right, and gotten into a huge mess. Actually, when I was in second grade, my dad threatened to never take me to McDonald's again. What had happened was every Sunday morning, my family and I used to go to a Chinese school. They had all sorts of activities for Asian Americans, and I was learning to write Chinese characters. And my dad had taken me to a McDonald's before heading to the Chinese school. I was 7 years old, and I insisted on trying a Big Mac. I don't know why. I just felt like I was old enough to eat a Big Mac now, and I pestered my dad into ordering a Big Mac for me, and I got it. and I got into the car and I quickly stuffed it into my face, and I felt very uncomfortable for the rest of the drive into Chinese school. And when I got there, I started to feel dizzy. I couldn't get out of my car, and then I vomited on the floor of the car. My dad was so upset, and he shouted in Chinese. He shouted that he was never taking me to McDonald's again. And all my classmates were in the parking lot getting ready to go into the building, and they all heard my dad getting upset at me. And so I wasn't sure what bothered me more, the fact that my dad was never taking me to McDonald's again, or that I had embarrassed myself vomiting and having everybody see my dad scream at me. But you know what? Before long, my dad was taking me to McDonald's again because, after all, he was just as addicted as I was. So I thought the reason you shouldn't drink and drive was because you might spill your drink while driving and be distracted by it. I was on the school bus one morning, and my school bus driver was drinking a soda while driving us into the school, and it scared the crap out of me. And I ran up to the driver and said, "Hey, don't drink and drive!" And she laughed her guts out, saying that, "Do you even know what that means?" I said, "Yeah, you're drinking while driving your bus, and you might spill and get into an accident." And she corrected me on what that meant, and we all had a good laugh. But now, in retrospect, looking back, I should have pushed even further. Drinking anything while driving the bus should be illegal, in my opinion, or eating anything, or doing anything other than driving the bus, right? Too bad we didn't have live streaming at the time, right? I would have so much loved to live stream, myself in first grade arguing with the bus driver about driving while behind the wheel, right? But anyways, the other reason I want to make this public service announcement is that I really don't have any friends to exchange gifts with. And if I could prevent a couple of accidents from people not eating while driving, it's the best gift I can give the world, right? So please don't eat and drive. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.